back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis, and during the month of December, to help you with the festive season, I'm going to be posting 4 times a week on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday at 7 AM. So if you love recipe videos like this one and you want to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And now I'm going to share with you how to make my delicious roasted tomato and fennel soup. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make my delicious roasted tomato and fennel soup. Now this recipe is really easy to do, and as it's nearly Christmas, I thought you might be looking for recipes to make during the festive season. You might be having a big group of people to dinner and you may want to have a starter, and this makes a really nice starter. Also makes a really good lunch as well, and it makes a really simple dinner too. We're going to be having this for our dinner this evening, and we're going to be having it with, well, the boys are going to be having theirs with cheesy toast, and I'm going to be having mine with chickpea flour wraps. And my chickpea flour wraps recipe I will link in the description box below for you. But I thought that while I was making it, I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my delicious roasted tomato and fennel soup. Firstly, I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees. So my oven has preheated, and I've got myself a baking tray, and I've cut my vegetables up. So I'm just going to put my vegetables into the baking tray. So for this recipe, I'm using 1 onion that I've just peeled and diced up into big chunks like so. So I'm just going to put those in, and then I have 2 bulbs of fennel. I think this recipe called for 1 large one, but I had 1 medium one and a small one, so I thought I'd just put them together. So yes, I've chopped the tails and the tops off of the fennel, and then I just quartered the fennel. Fennel is a really delicious vegetable. It's quite a strong flavour, but I really like it. My son doesn't, my husband does, so it's one of those, I think, you either love it or you loathe it. So yes, and now I'm going to add tomatoes to this as well. So I've got about 6 large tomatoes that I've just taken off the vines, and I'm just going to put into the baking tray with the other vegetables, and then I'm just going to drizzle over some oil on that as well. And this soup you could make in advance of the meal, and you could store in the freezer if you wanted to. All of the ingredients in this dish are freezable, so it's perfectly okay to do that. So now I'm just going to sprinkle over some salt and pepper as well, and salt really helps the sweetness of the tomatoes to come out. I don't know where I learned that. I don't think it was from my dad, where I learned most of the things I know, but I definitely know that it does help to bring out the sweetness in the tomatoes. And then I'm just going to sprinkle over a little bit of pepper as well, and I'm just going to toss all of those vegetables in the oil, the salt and the pepper. Oh, I dropped some on the floor as well, didn't mean to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until they start to go golden brown. The tomatoes will split and the juice will run. So when it does that, that's when it's ready to take out of the oven. The tomatoes, onions and fennel have cooked. As you can see, the tomatoes have split, and there is a lot of juice in this baking tray as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this from the oven now, and I'm going to leave it to cool. So I've left my ingredients that I took out of the oven to cool, and now what I'm going to do is I am going to make the soup. So I've got my blender here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add beans to this blender. So I have cooked some dried cannellini beans. I've got about 300 grams. If you wanted to use tins, you could. I would use 2 tins of cannellini beans, or butter beans as well is quite a good one to use in this recipe. And I'm going to put half of these beans into my blender now. So I like to use dried beans because they're actually cheaper than buying them in a tin, and it's really easy to cook them. You do have to soak cannellini beans overnight, and then what I do is I wash them off and I cook them in a saucepan, and I put them, so I put them into a saucepan and I pour cold water on them, I bring it to the boil and then leave it to simmer. I've also discovered that using baking powder while cooking cannellini beans makes them cook quicker and also makes them a lot softer as well. So yes, I have put the cannellini beans, I've put the cannellini beans into my blender, and now I'm going to add about half a litre of milk. I'm going to do this half because I don't think it's all going to fit in. I'm using an oat milk today, but you can use any type of milk you like. You could use cow's milk as well if you wanted to. And then I'm going to add in about half of the ingredients that I've just cooked in the oven. So I'm going to put in some fennel and some tomato and some of the onion as well. And then all I'm going to do is simply blend these ingredients together. And as I said, my blender isn't that big, so I'm going to do half now and I'll do half after I've blended this. I've blended all of those ingredients until they are smooth, so basically like a smoothie. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour those into a saucepan, and I'm going to continue to blend the rest of the ingredients now. So I've blended the ingredients again, and I'm just going to pour this into a saucepan, and I'm going to heat this up, and this is what we're going to be having for our dinner this evening. So I've heated the soup back up, and now I'm going to serve myself some just to see what it tastes like. So I'm going to put some in a bowl, excuse me, and then I'm going to have a little bit of this soup. Oh, it's creamy. It's got a lot of flavour to it as well. You can taste the sweetness of the tomatoes, and you can certainly taste the cannellini beans in here as well. They make the soup really thick. That's yummy. I'm looking forward to that for my dinner later. That's how you make my delicious roasted tomato and fennel soup, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to have this for our dinner this evening, and I can't wait. It is so tasty. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye!